Now, Roma Wines present Suspense. Tonight, The Fountain Plays, starring Charles Lawton. Suspense is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those excellent California wines that can add so much pleasantness to the way you live, to your happiness and entertaining guests, to your enjoyment of everyday meals. Yes, right now a glassful would be very pleasant as Roma Wines bring you Suspense. This is the Man in Black, here for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California, who tonight from Hollywood bring to you an old friend to these proceedings, Mr. Charles Lawton, as star of an unusual murder study by his distinguished compatriot, Miss Dorothy L. Sayers, called The Fountain Plays. It deals with the fortunes and misfortunes of a middle-class Englishman, the name of Spiller, who lives on a little country estate with a cook and a manservant, and in the garden, yes, a fountain. And so with the performance of Charles Lawton as Mr. Archibald Spiller, we again hope to keep you in suspense.
Now then, Mr. Spiller, what about it?
I say, look out there, Sam.
Oh, look out of what?
You're still as blind as a bed out, Sam. You really ought to wear glasses, you know.
Don't you try to put me off.
I was only trying to keep you from getting your clothes wet, Sam. You almost walked right under the spray of the fountain.
Well, never mind you. Now I need glasses. And never you mind about your blasted fountain either. I want a straight answer to my question, Mr. Spiller.
I've given you an answer. I told you.
You've given me nothing but bluff and bluster. Do I get it or don't I? That's what I want to know, and if I don't, well...
Dear fella, please. My guests are arriving. I'll talk to you tonight.
You'd better talk straight. It'll be your last chance, my lad.
Hello there, everybody. You're just in time for a little refreshment.
Master said we'd find you here, Daddy. I hope we're not interrupting.
Oh, certainly not, certainly not. You know Mr. Gooch, my dear?
Yes, of course.
And this is my neighbor, Mrs. Digby, Mr. Gooch.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Gooch?
And Ronald Proudfoot, my daughter's fiancé.
How do you do, sir?
How do you do?
Well, I was just showing Mr. Gooch the wonders of my little fountain.
Oh, Daddy, you do make such a fuss over this fountain.
Even so, I always say there's nothing quite like a bit of ornamental water to set a place off.
It's sort of like the Mrs. Versailles garden, wasn't it?
Oh, it's really lovely, Mr. Spiller. And so secluded, with the rhododendrons and the lilac hedge all around.
You like that? You know, I was thinking of cutting some of these lilacs.
Oh, I
To make a vista, so to speak, you can't even see it from the house with these bushes on all four sides.
Well, now, perhaps that might add something.
But if you like the lilacs, Mrs. Digby, the lilacs shall stay.
Oh, Mr. Spiller, I'm no authority, I'm sure.
Well, if you want an authority, I'd say they're a mess. Plaster, backstop, and all a mess.
See? A mess.
Maybe Mr. Gooch means the way the backstop arches up above the spray. It rather overshadows it.
Have to have that, you know, my dear. Prevailing winds from the south. You feel how nice and warm it is tonight? They blow the jet of water right onto the grass. If it weren't for that backstop, we'd have a proper swamp over there. Wasteful, too.
Well, I'm glad to know that.
You always were a fool, Archie. Squandering money on a fountain.
No, indeed. Uses the same water. Over and over again. Like the ones in Trafalgar Square. Most ingenious, really.
Why, isn't that a wonderful idea?
Have to be careful, of course, even so. Turn it off every night to save leakage and waste and so on. Oh.
Hello, sir. Dinner is served.
Oh, thank you, Masters. Well, what do you say, everybody? Ready for a bit of dinner? So, shall we go in, then?
Why, Mr. Spiller, your modest little fountain. When you're past the bushes, all at once you can scarcely hear it.
Yes, it's quite impossible to hear it from the house. Can't hear it at all.
was Napoleon, too. And he wasn't, you see. Ha, ha, ha. No sense of humor.
Will that be all, then, sir?
Yes, thank you, Master. An excellent dinner. Would you give my compliments to the cook?
Yes, sir.
And coffee in the drawing room.
Very good, sir.
Well, shall we adjourn?
Shall we what?
Go into the drawing room.
Quite a tough you've become, eh, Archie? We changed from the old days. Shall we adjourn to the drawing room?
What did you think, Mr. Spiller, about a rubber or two of bridge?
Excellent suggestion, Mrs. Digby. Excellent.
Good thing I don't play, eh, Archie? See, I'm counted out before we start.
Oh, Mr. Goose, I'm so sorry. Do take my place. I'm really very
Well,
tired.
thank you, no thanks. We don't play bridge where I come from, and neither did Archie, although I see he picked it up quick enough once.
Yes. It's never too late to learn, you know.
Well, mind you don't play too long, because I want to talk to you before this night's over, my lad.
Ah, yes, of course, sir.
I'll be waiting for you out by your precious fountain, absorbing the beauties of your precious moonlight. And I don't want to wait too long, see?
Right you are, old boy.
Where's the fellow masters?
Is there something you wish, sir?
Give me an handful of those Coronas. Only the best for your pals, eh, Archie?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. Well, see you folks later. Maybe.
Well, Mrs. Digby, shall it be you and me against the youngsters?
Daddy?
Yes, dear.
Can you tell me why you put up with that man?
You? Oh, no, he's not a bad sort, really.
He is a bad sort. He's a rude, unpleasant, terrible man.
Well, he's an old friend, you know. Not much a chap can do.
Oh, Daddy, you're so soft-hearted. But if you can't do anything, I can.
No, please, dear. We'll be gone in a day or two.
And Hyde Park. What does he mean talking to you that way in your own home?
Well, shall we cut the deal?
Yes. Shall I?
Well, I don't care. You shan't put me off. This is the last time that man's going to come into this house.
I wish it were.
Boorish, nasty. I just can't stand him.
Oh, come now. It's not as unpleasant as that.
What? The only time he'll ever be pleasant is in his grave, that's what.
Oh, what an awful thing to say. What a perfectly dreadful thing to say.
Tonight for Suspense, Roma Wines are bringing you as star Mr. Charles Lawton, whom you have heard in the first act of The Fountain Plays, tonight's tale of Suspense.
I have an interesting idea for you tonight from the keen and sensible mind of America's famed expert on parties and smart entertaining, Miss Elsa Maxwell. And I quote,
Serving a nice table wine when friends come to dinner, or with everyday meals, is one of the smartest, most sensible, and truly moderate pleasures of which I know, and one which any family can regularly enjoy, since the cost of delicious Roma Burgundy is very little. Just serve your Roma Burgundy well cooled. Enjoy it with any food, and don't worry about special glasses. Any glasses available are perfectly correct. The goodness of the wine, the added enjoyment of your food, these are the things that count.
Miss Maxwell expresses perfectly what we of Roma believe. In Roma, California Burgundy, in all Roma wines, you enjoy the glorious color, aroma, and flavor of superb sun-ripe grapes. Our noted wineries, located in California's choicest vineyard areas, assure you of flavor and quality which are always good, never varying, always delightful. And so Roma quality is preferred everywhere, and you are able to enjoy these fine Roma wines at modest prices, only pennies a glassful. Remember, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine. R-O-M-A, Roma wine.
And now it is with pleasure that we bring back to our soundstage Charles Lawton as Mr. Archibald Spiller in The Fountain Plays. Tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
It's a nice view from here. And I don't know anything that's given me so much enjoyment as that fountain. You know, it uses the same water over and over again. It shows you, doesn't it, Mrs. Digby, that the simpler pleasures are best.
Oh, that's so true. Oh, well, here we are. It's been such a lovely evening, Mr. Spiller. And it was so nice of you to walk me home.
My pleasure, I assure you, Mrs. Digby. You know, I've been thinking. I'm very lucky to have found a neighbor like you at my time of life, I mean.
Maybe it's not luck at all.
It's fate, you mean, Mrs. Digby? May I call you Rosalind?
Oh, of course.
And you call me Archibald. Silly name, only one I've got, though.
Why, I think it's a very nice name.
Do you? Well, you know, I've been thinking it was true what I said tonight, that the place will be needing a new hostess soon.
With Betty getting married, you mean? Oh, you must be very happy for her.
I am, but what I mean is, we're both alone in the world now.
Yes?
Rosalind, there's something I want to talk to you about soon. I can't just now. There are arrangements I have to make. But I want to talk to you very seriously.
Yes? I'll always be here, you know. But it's late now.
Yes, so it is. Well, good night, Rosalind. It has been a lovely evening. Good night.
Good night, Archibald.
Masters, where is everybody?
Mr. Ronald left 5 or 10 minutes ago, sir. And Miss Elizabeth has retired.
Mr. Gooch still in the garden?
I couldn't say, sir. Shall I go and see?
No, never mind. You can cut along to bed now. I'll lock up.
Very good, sir.
Oh, by the way, is the fountain turned off?
Yes, sir. I turned it off myself at 10:30. The seems you were engaged, sir.
Oh, fine. Well, good night, Master.
Good night, sir.
Oh, confound them.
Oh, hello there. I was just coming out to look for you.
Oh.
Have a nice evening.
Nice evening. Not as nice an evening as you had with your obliging little widow, eh?
That's enough of that now, Sam.
Oh, it is it? That's enough, is it?
Yes.
That's a good one. Who do you think I am? Talk to me like that. One of your ruddy servants? Well, I'm not. I'm the boss here. Get that into your head. I'm the boss, and you know it.
All right, Sam. But let's buzz off to bed now. Talk it all over in the morning.
Now. Talk about it right now, Mr. Spiller. I'm short of cash. It's high time you kicked in with some more.
Now, look here, Sam. I pay you your allowance as we agreed, and you stay here whenever you like. But that is all.
Oh, it is. It's getting pretty high and mighty, aren't you? Number 41632.
Quiet, Sam. For heaven's sake.
You're in a fine spot to tell me what you're going to do, aren't you? Quiet. The servants might hear. Quiet. Betty might hear, or Mr. Ronald Flacknoodle, whatever his name is.
Really, Sam, you're quite impossible this evening.
Not impossible, eh? I'm not an escaped jailbird, am I? I'm not liable to be all back to work out 10 years hard labor for forgery, am I?
You're quiet. Now, look here, Sam. I'll give you a little extra this once.
When I think a man like me was only in for a short stretch anyway, and worked it all out good and proper, depending on the charity. Charity, mind you, a bell-watch rolling in wealth.
I'm not rolling in wealth, and you know it. And if you'll promise me faithfully that this is the last time...
Sure, I'll promise. For an old pill, I'll promise anything. You just give me 5,000 down.
5,000?
That's right. But a great opportunity, and all I need is a little ready cash.
Don't be an idiot, Sam. Where do you think I'm going to lay on my hands on that much, just like that? Look, I'll give you a check for 500.
Trying to renege on an old pal, eh? I said 5,000, and 5,000 it is. You'll find yourself back on the rock pile.
I tell you, I haven't got it.
Haven't got it. You've got enough to go buying fancy fountains and playing around with that widow next door.
You leave Mrs. Digby out of this.
I'll leave her out of it, all right. I'll leave the old front to you altogether.
Sorry I had to do that. I told you that was enough of that, and I meant it. Now, you pull yourself together and go to bed. I'll talk to you in the morning. Hear me, Sam? Sam, come on. Come on, I didn't hit you that hard. Get up on your feet now. Sam? Sam! I've killed him. What was that? Oh, just the old clock. 11 o'clock. 7 hours, 8 perhaps, until they find him. Of course, he hit his head when he fell, but the police won't care about that. And they'll take fingerprints, and they'll find out I was number 41632. Yes. What you'll need, my boy, is an alibi. If I could only confuse them. An alibi. That's it. Make it seem he was alive when he was already dead. That's what they do. But first you have to fix the time. Now, the time. Oh, yes, make it earlier. Say 10:30 while everyone was playing bridge, if he could have died some time before that. But how to prove it? What happened at 10:30? What happened at 10:30? What happened at... That's it, the fountain. Masters talked about the fountain. Yes, the fountain. Now I know what to do. Go out into the garden, turn on the fountain, then down the garden path and call him. Call him by his name. Well, here goes. Sam! Sam! Gooch! Gooch! I think that'll do for that. Now back to the house. See, I looked for him and didn't find him because it was dark and the moon had gone down. Now, how am I going to move him? The wheelchair. That's right, the wheelchair. Yes, the wheelchair that used to be Mrs. Spiller's. I remember how she was. Not time to think of that now. Just lift him into it. Who'd ever have thought old Sam was as heavy as this? Now, out the other door. But quietly this time. Down the back path. Wish that didn't make so much noise. Careful, boy, careful. Hold on to yourself. I feel like running. Feel as though every window in the house were filled with faces watching. Well, here we are. Now to lift him up again. Yeah. Lay him down on the edge of the fountain. Put one hand in the water. The bruise on his head right up against the corner of the stone basin. A bit more to the right. That's it. But he was half blind anyway, and he fell. And now it's done. What's that? He's alive. Gooch is alive. Ha! 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 After all that trouble, after committing practically the perfect crime, Gooch is alive. All right. Sam. Wait a bit. Why bring him to life again? More blackmail for the rest of your life? What about Mrs. Digby? The nice, plump, comfortable Mrs. Digby? Rotten. No. What about Betty? She at least deserves something. Much better to murder him. All right, murder him I will. He's dead already as far as the rest of the world is concerned now. Come here. Now or never. Face is right by the water's edge. So now it's done. It's done, Mr. Spiller. Ha! Why don't I feel any remorse? I don't. Does the mouse feel remorse that the cat is killed? Does the prisoner feel remorse when he leaves his prison? Yeah. It's done and it's well done. Nothing left but the finishing touches now. Let's see. Take back the wheelchair, let the fountain run another hour, and then to bed. Why should I feel any remorse? Nonsense. Congratulations, they're more like it. Yes, that's right. Congratulations, old man. Ooh, is it turned cold?
Inspector Sampson.
Oh, yes. Come in, Inspector. Come in.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Spiller. Regulations, you know.
Oh, of course.
Was everyone here who was present the night, that is, last night?
Yes, Inspector. It's Mrs. Digby. She's my neighbour, and it's my daughter Elizabeth. Her fiancé, Mr. Ronald Proudfoot, and the servants, of course.
Excellent. Well, now, you'll all bear with me. I have to ask you all a few questions, you know. There was a blow on the head.
Oh?
As I understand it, the deceased was last seen alive at about 8:30, just after dinner. I think, you were the last to see him, eh, my man?
Yes, sir. I believe so, sir.
You showed him the way to the fountain in the garden, eh?
At his request, yes, sir. I believe the deceased gentleman's eyesight was rather bad.
Oh, terribly bad. Terribly
And
bad.
that was the last time he was seen alive by any of you?
Yes, that's right, Inspector.
The four of you then played cards, I believe. Until what time?
Until about 10:30, Inspector.
And no one left the room during those 2 hours?
No, nobody.
And Mr. Spiller, you accompanied Mrs. Digby to her room. Is that correct, Mrs. Digby?
Yes, Inspector.
Now, when you returned, you were met in the hall by Masters. Now, what time was that, Masters?
About 10:45, sir.
And Mr. Spiller at that time inquired after Mr. Gooch?
Yes, sir. He asked if I'd seen him, sir. And as I'd not, he suggested I might retire and that he himself would lock the house.
The others had all left, eh?
Yes, sir. That is to say, Mr. Ronald had left. I heard him drive off in his car. And Miss Elizabeth had retired.
Then you were alone in the downstairs part of the house. Is that so, Mr. Spiller?
Yes.
Will you tell me, please, what you did then?
Well, Inspector, I'd promised the poor fellow I'd have a talk with him later in the evening. So I went to look for him. I went down to the end of the garden by the fountain.
But you didn't go through the lilac hedge to the fountain?
No, I did not. It was dark by then. I couldn't see. I called Gooch several times.
Did anyone hear Mr. Spiller call?
I did, sir.
Yes.
Oh.
I was half asleep, you might say. But I did hear Mr. Spiller call out.
And then what did you do, Mr. Spiller?
I came back into the house, Inspector. I sat up in the library and read for a while, and about 1 o'clock I went to bed.
Now, this is very important. Who turned off the fountain?
I did, sir.
At what time, Masters?
At 10:30, sir.
You're quite sure of that now?
Yes, sir. It was the usual time.
I see. And no one would have turned it on again, of course?
I can't see why, sir.
Well, I think that makes everything very clear, Mr. Spiller. When the body was found, it was still wet from the spray of the fountain. Therefore, death must have occurred some time before the fountain was turned off at 10:30. And as all of you here were occupied up until then, from the time the deceased was last seen alive...
Of course, it is an accident, Inspector. I said so from the beginning.
Well, it might have been either, you know. There had been a blow and there was water in the lungs, but the man apparently fell, missed his footing due to his poor eyesight, and struck his head, falling into the water, from which he was unable to rescue himself.
Well, it seems the obvious conclusion, doesn't it? My poor fellow.
Well, thanks, everyone. I don't think we shall have to trouble you again, Mr. Spiller.
I hope not, and thank you, Inspector.
Oh, Daddy, I'm so glad. I was afraid for a while.
Now, there was nothing to be afraid of here. Poor old Gooch just lost his footing and fell, that's all.
I know. I was afraid of him.
Afraid of him?
I know it was silly, but he was so strange. I thought he had some sort of hold over you.
Nonsense, darling. Just an old friend, and I'm a sentimental old fool.
No, you're an old dear. But I've got to run now.
Off with Ronald?
Yes. Daddy, are you going to be awfully lonely when I've gone?
You know I'll miss you.
Maybe Mrs. Digby?
Now, my girl.
Oh, but she's such a darling, Daddy.
She is rather nice, isn't she? In fact, I thought I might pop over to see her this afternoon, as long as you're going to be out.
Daddy, I knew it. And I won't keep you another second. I'll go over to dinner.
Perhaps I shall. You'll be on time, though.
I will. Bye, Daddy.
Oh, Masters, yes.
If it's convenient to you, sir, I should like to have my bedroom changed. I should like to sleep indoors in the main house.
Oh, why is that, Masters?
I'm a very slight sleeper, sir, and noises keep me awake.
Noises?
The weather vane, sir, above the garage. When the wind changes, it creaks.
Oh, well, a little oil, perhaps, would fix
I
it.
hardly think that would do, sir. Because when the wind changes, there are other noises. They can be most disturbing, sir.
What other noises?
The fountain, sir.
Fountain?
Yes, sir. Ordinarily, I'm quite unable to hear it, any more than you can in the main house, sir. But when the wind is from the east, the plaster backstop acts quite like a sounding board in the direction of my room, sir. In fact, I can not only hear the fountain itself, but I can hear even the faintest noises of the grove around it, quite clearly.
Yes, I see.
Quite, sir.
Yes.
For instance, on the night Mr. Gooch sustained his unfortunate accident, I noticed the winds changed a little after 11 because it got very cold. The weather vane wakened it. And then I heard the fountain. I seem to hear other noises, too, if I may say so, sir.
You heard?
Yes, sir. I might add that after noting the police inspector's observation, I took the precaution of pressing your dinner jacket. The sleeves seemed quite wet, sir.
Yes.
I think, sir, all things taken into consideration, you might find it worth your while to retain me permanently in your service.
Yes, of course. Wouldn't dream of ever wanting to replace you, Masters.
At, shall we say, just double my present wage?
Oh,
For
well.
the present.
Yes.
I'm very much obliged to you, sir. Is there anything else, sir?
No. Nothing else. I'm going to sit here by the fountain. Very ingenious, the fountain. Most ingenious, my fountain. Costs a little to run because it uses the same water. Over and over again. Over and over again. Over and over again. Over and over again.
And so closes The Fountain Plays, starring Charles Lawton. Tonight's study in Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by William Spear.
The other day, Elsa Maxwell told us about a friend who had lived many years in wine-loving countries around the world.
I gave him some of our delicious Roma, California burgundy at dinner, and he confessed to me that he thought it every bit as enjoyable as any he had ever had. So, I say, you people who do not regularly serve Roma wines are missing one of the most delightful treats daily living can offer. It's so good, so smart, yet so very simple.
Take Miss Maxwell's advice. Enjoy Roma wine regularly. It's always good, unvaryingly fine in flavor and quality, and only pennies a glass. Remember, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine. Roma, R-O-M-A, Roma wine.
Next Thursday, same time, we will have the pleasure of bringing to you Mr. Cary Grant. Make a note now for next Thursday so you won't miss Cary Grant's performance in Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wine, R-O-M-A. Made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Now, Roma Wines presents
Suspense. Tonight, The Black Curtain, starring Cary Grant.
Suspense is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those excellent California wines that can add so much pleasantness to the way you live, to your happiness in entertaining guests, to your enjoyment of everyday meals. Yes, right now a glassful would be very pleasant, as Roma Wines bring you
Suspense. This is the Man in Black, here for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California, to introduce this weekly half hour of Suspense. Tonight in Hollywood, we are honored and happy to have with us one of the entertainment world's most distinguished gentlemen, Mr. Cary Grant. This becomes somewhat of an anniversary broadcast, since it was 1 year ago tonight that Mr. Grant inaugurated this series of suspense programs sponsored by Roma Wine. And in response to requests from our listeners, he will appear once more in the suspense play by Cornell Woolrich, which starred him on that occasion. And so, with The Black Curtain, and with the performance of Cary Grant, we again hope to keep you in suspense.
It began, or rather life began again for me, I guess you'd say, that day on that street. My head was pounding terribly. I could hear all the noise and the people milling around. Everything was a jumble at first.
All right, gangway. Let the doc through.
Oh, I seen it happen, Mr. Policeman. He was running. Boy, he really gave himself a clunk on the bean.
All right, now get back there.
Oh, my head.
All right. Take it easy, brother.
His wallet fell out of his pocket, and a big boy grabbed it and ran away.
Back,
He went
everybody,
down there.
back. Give the doctor room.
No, I'm okay. Never mind, Doc. I'm okay.
Uh-huh. Well, there seems to be nothing much the matter with you, sir.
No, I'm all right, thanks.
I guess I can talk to him now, Doctor.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, officer. Just a bad bump on the head, I think. Yeah, you're all right. You can walk all right, can't you? Yeah, sure. Here, let me brush you off.
Oh, thanks. I'll be fine. Hey, wait a minute. What am I doing with an overcoat on?
All right, mister. Now, just so they got it on the blotter, what's your name and where do you live?
Townsend, Frank Townsend, 820 Rutherford Street.
Here, have a cigarette. Just go shake.
No, thanks. I don't smoke.
Well, I'll be getting back. Drop in at the receiving hospital if you want us to check you out.
Yes, I will.
All right, Max, take it away.
Hey, here's your hat, mister. I found it.
Oh, thanks, kid.
Oh, that's all now. Come on, move along. This guy's all right. Yeah. Oh, thanks, son. Sorry about the fellow that got your wallet. Anyway, here's your cigar case, Mr. Townsend. Guy found it right alongside of you.
Oh, thanks. Well, I don't know the case.
Huh?
And besides, look at the initials. DN.
I don't know. Same initials in the hat. See? DN.
Yes, but this isn't my hat.
Don't you even know your own hat, mister?
Wait a minute. I'm trying to think. Where is this?
What?
Well, this street.
You're on Tillery Street.
Tillery Street?
Yes.
Well, what am I doing on Tillery Street?
He's lost.
All right now, so my suggestion is that you go on home and go lie down. It's cold. Starting to snow again.
Wait a minute. Don't leave me.
Huh?
Tell me. What happened?
Oh, you slipped on this icy sidewalk. Fell down, hit your head good and hard on the curb. You were out for about 20 minutes.
But wait. Ice on the sidewalk?
Well, look at it. That street cleaning department ought to clear away that snow, too.
But snow and ice?
Sure, why?
Snow in July?
July? It's December 1944.
1944?
Yeah, you better get on home, son. Good night.
1944? December 1944. Why, the last I remember was July 1941. 3 years. Just gone. Amnesia. A black curtain comes down over your mind out of nowhere. Well, that black curtain had been over my eyes for 3 years. Where had I been? Who had I been? I hadn't been Frank Townsend. I'd been someone else. D.N. Someone whose initials were D.N. I walked along Tillery Street thinking about it. Those 3 years. I could have been married. I could have been a thief. I could have... Something made me turn around on the street for a moment. And that was when I first saw him. Gray eyes. He'd been talking to the cop who took my name. He looked up as I did. And then he started to walk rapidly in my direction. I backed away instinctively. Something about him spelled trouble. He called to me and came forward.
Hey! Hey, you stop, Townsend!
Instinctively, I knew I should run and get away from him.
Hey, you!
I looked back and around to the corner. He had a gun in his hand. He raised it. And then I turned and ran for my life.
What lay behind that black curtain which separated Townsend from his past? Roma Wines are presenting Hollywood's distinguished Cary Grant as star of tonight's tale of Suspense.
Haven't you often realized that many of life's finest enjoyments are simple and moderate rather than the opposite? I give you the words of a high and well-loved authority, Miss Elsa Maxwell, international expert on smart entertaining and gracious living.
Good hospitality is always simple, genuine, and moderate. That is why I often suggest enjoyment of delicious Roma Sauterne when you have friends in to dinner or with your everyday meals. Serve this delicate golden Sauterne well chilled with any food in any glasses you have. Special wine glasses are pretty, but not very important.
Now, what can I add to such charming good sense as that? Maybe just this. Roma Sauterne and all Roma wines are the best that California's magnificent sun-ripened grapes can provide. In glorious color, fragrance, and flavor. Protected for you by the ancient wine skill of Roma's famed wineries. That's why Roma wines and Roma quality do not vary, never fall short, but are always enjoyable. Unchanging high quality gives tremendous popularity to Roma wines and makes low cost possible. Only pennies a glass. Remember, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine. R-O-M-A, Roma wines.
And now it is with pleasure that we bring back to our soundstage Mr. Cary Grant and The Black Curtain, a story well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Why was that man following me with a gun? What did Gray Eyes want with me? I must have done something. I had to get away someplace to be safe and think. I beat it down into the subway and hid. For 2 hours I stayed down there. I thought it all out carefully during those 2 hours. I knew I was on the spot for something. Gray Eyes meant business. What could it be? Who had I been during those last 3 years with that black curtain in front of them? Well, maybe I've been a gangster, and he was one of a mob that wanted to rub me out. I didn't know. There was no identification, my wallet stolen, nothing in my pockets that would help. Just D.N. in the hat, and D.N. on the cigar case. D.N. Oh, my head was aching with worry, and my stomach had panic in it. I had to find out who I'd been, what I had done. But how? Where? Tillery Street. Yes, that's where I'd been when I woke up. Tillery Street. Well, maybe Gray Eyes would go back there, too, looking for me. But I had to take that chance. Tillery Street.
Yes?
Oh, good evening, Pop.
Hello. Oh, hello there.
Oh, you know me.
Sure. Couldn't see under that hat at first. What can I do for you?
Well, say, have you got an evening paper I could look at?
No, sorry, never read them. Too much trouble in the world these days, anyhow. Say, how you been? You haven't been around 2 or 3 weeks.
Uh-huh. Oh, well, I've been busy. Look, Pop.
Yeah?
I made a bet with a friend of mine that even though you see so many customers, you'd walk right up and give me my full name.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I don't know it. I don't think I ever heard your name. But I know your girl.
My girl?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you do?
Sure.
Well, now. Maybe I can still win my bet, huh?
Well, of course. Ruth. Lives right across the street, the Tillery Apartments.
Well, that's right. Ruth. But now. What apartment?
Apartment 3C, of course. Don't I take the sandwiches up there every night?
3C. Yeah, well, thanks.
Will you win your bet, mister?
What? Oh, yeah, I think I will.
What is your name, so as I'll know it next time?
Oh, I'll tell you tomorrow. I hope.
So long.
So long, Pop. I'll be...
What's the matter? Drop something?
No, nothing. Nothing. I'm just tying my shoe. I'd just been going to walk out when I saw him standing across the street. Gray eyes again. I ducked down behind the store window and watched him. He looked over in my direction and then up and down the street. Then he lit a cigarette and strolled down to the corner. The minute he disappeared, I yanked the door open, dashed out, ran across the Tillery Apartments, and went in.
Who is it?
Ruth?
Yes?
It's me.
Dan! Oh, Danny, where's... Get in here. Oh, darling, it's really you. I thought...
Hello, Ruth.
Oh, Danny, why did you come here? He's been around twice today. He may be in the neighborhood right now, for all you know.
Yeah? Who?
Who? Well, Flannery, of course.
Flannery. Uh-huh. Has he got gray eyes?
What? Yeah. Did you ever see a detective that didn't?
Oh, sure.
Danny, what's the matter with you? You're acting so strangely.
I just want to look at you.
You seem so different, so far away. You haven't kissed me.
Well, that's easily fixed.
Oh, darling. Darling, where've you been for 3 weeks?
Oh, all around? Miss me?
Oh, you know I did. Danny, do you think we could get away tonight? I've got $3,000 saved up. We could go to Mexico or South America. We could get married. Mr. and Mrs. Daniel Nearing tour the world.
Daniel Nearing. Mr. and Mrs.
Sounds plenty good to me.
Oh, you will never know how good.
We'll get out of here tonight. I'll call up and tell them I'm quitting my job. I'll say I'm sick. All my stuff's here. Nothing out there but a couple of uniforms. I'll make Ada and Franklin a present of those.
Ada and Franklin?
Well, don't you bother your head about those two. Maybe they weren't glad when it happened. A couple of vultures. Bye to them. Oh, with you back, Danny. Just think with my $3,000 we can...
But do you think you ought to quit your job?
Well, absolutely, I think so. I never was cut out to be a nurse anyway.
No, if you weren't. Any more than I was...
Any more than you were meant to be a secretary.
That's right. I never wanted to be a secretary. Just drifted into it, I guess. And got on my nerves, especially toward the end. The boss was no cinch to work for.
He certainly wasn't. He was a rat. Oh, the whole Dietrich bunch are mean, rotten, the whole family.
Yes, that's right.
All except the old man.
Oh, the old man. Yes, I sort of liked him, didn't I?
He loves you, Danny. I think he wished he'd been his son. Poor old man. He's the only reason I've stuck around out there this long.
How are things out there?
Oh, they've been questioning all of us. They've laid off lately, though, since you... Oh, don't let's talk anymore about it. You're back. That's the main thing. I want to forget New Jericho and the whole deal.
New Jericho, huh?
Oh, Danny, if only it hadn't happened.
What hadn't?
You know what. Danny, what's going to become of you and me?
I wish I knew.
Danny, get away from that window. Leave that shade down.
He's down there.
Who?
Gray Eyes. He's standing in front of the hydrant. He's coming in here, in the building.
Oh, did he see you?
Listen, Ruth, will you help me?
What are you going to do?
Give myself up.
No.
Well, it's better than getting shot at. What can they do to me?
You crazy fool. They can send you to the chair.
The chair?
What do you think happens to a man when he's guilty of murder?
Murder? Ruth, listen to me. I'm not a murderer, but the whole world says I committed murder. I say I didn't. The me that's in me says I didn't.
I never said your word, Danny. I always said you didn't do it. But they found the body and they... Oh, you had to run away.
So that's it.
All right, Nearing, open up.
Oh, why did you come here, Danny? Why? Why?
Ruth, quick. We've got to get out of here. How about the fire escape? Shaft, dumb waiter.
Dumb waiter. In here.
All right, lock that kitchen door. Get in. I'll stand on top of it, the ropes.
I think it can hold us both.
It's got to. Can you hear me?
Yes, Danny. Oh, Danny, what do we do?
We're going back there to New Jericho.
To Jericho? Oh, no, Danny, don't, please. For me, no.
I've got to. I've got to find out, Ruth. We're going together.
No. Danny, I've got the money. We can get out of here. We can...
Stop it.
Oh, Danny, my arm. You're hurting me.
Look here, Ruth. From here on in, we're sticking together. You're going to take me back there. Back where it happened.
All right, darling. Crazy, but I'll go wherever you go. I can't lose you again.
On the train, Ruth and I said very little to each other. While I'd hid in the telephone booth at Pennsylvania Station, she'd bought us a couple of cheap overcoats, and I sat hunched up in mine, thinking. Ruth had brought along the newspaper clippings. I looked at what they said for the 20th time, trying to see if there was anything there that would help me. Dietrich Slayer's assault, it said. Secretary wanted in brutal slaying at suburban estate. Police are pressing the search for Daniel Nearing, secretary in the employ of the late John Dietrich, 58, member of a well-known local family, who was shot and killed in the drawing room of his New Jericho estate on the morning of November the 7th. Nearing disappeared November the 7th, on the morning of which date he is known to have had a bitter quarrel with the deceased. This last was attested to at the inquest by Ada and Franklin Dietrich, widow and brother of the murdered man. Well, I had all the facts now. Wanted for murder. And yet everything that was in me told me that no matter who I'd been, however many memories I'd lost, that I was no killer, that I just couldn't have.
Jericho! No Jericho!
I had to get into the Dietrich house and stand again in that room where it had all happened. Maybe something would come back to me. Maybe there would be... Over here, Ruth.
It was dark. I couldn't see you. Ada and Franklin just left. They drove down to the village.
Did they say anything about you being out here on your day off?
Yeah, Ada made some crack.
Uh-huh.
But I said I had nothing to do in town and came out to write some letters.
Well, let's go then.
Yes, Danny, I'm scared. Please, let's not stay here.
Now, you said you loved me.
I do, Danny, I do. That's why I'm scared. They're only going to the village. They'll be back in a half hour at the most.
Now, open the door, Ruth. Hurry. I've got to see the inside, that room, the place where it happened.
What's wrong, Daddy? I'm telling you, you're crazy. They'll find you.
Open the door, Ruth. Quickly. All right. Now, let's have a look at that room.
Please, Daddy, please, don't talk about it.
So this is where I'm supposed to have murdered John Dietrich, huh?
Please.
Well, where was it? Show me exactly where it was, Ruth. I've got to know.
It was there. Right there. He was standing by the grandfather's clock when... Are you going crazy, Danny? If they get you, you'll hang.
By the clock. You still believe me, don't you, Ruth?
I believe you, Danny, but I'm scared. I love you.
Ruth, wait a minute. What's that? Listen.
It's only the old man. He's asleep in that room off there. Don't go in there, Danny. Don't. You'll wake him.
I want to see him.
Don't, Danny, don't. He can't help you. You know he's paralyzed and he can't talk.
Turn on the light. I want to see him.
There, you woke him. It's me, Mr. Dietrich. Ruth. This is Danny. You remember Danny, don't you?
Hello, Mr. Dietrich.
See how his eyes are shut.
Yes. Was he here when it happened?
You know that, Danny. Why do you ask such funny questions? He's been in bed here for 5 years.
Well, then, That mirror. On the wall here. The clock. Look. You can see the grandfather's clock in the other room.
What are you getting at, Danny?
Well, he could see it. The old man could see the murder through the mirror. Oh, if he could only talk.
But he can't talk. You scare me, Danny.
He saw the man who killed John Dietrich. Look, he understands what I'm saying. He's blinking his eyes.
Oh, stop torturing him, Danny. Can't you see what you're doing to him?
He's trying to say something. Look, his eyes are blinking. He's going to help me. Go outside and watch, Ruth. Go on.
Well, I'll watch out the entranceway. Be careful, Danny. They'll be back any minute.
Leave me alone with him.
I'll call if I hear them coming.
Look now. Now, Mr. Dietrich, don't be afraid. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'd like you to answer me. Are you trying to tell me something about the murder? Now, blink your eyes. Blink twice if you are. That's it. Once, twice. That's good. Did you see it happen? Here, in your mirror? Blink once if the answer is no. Twice if the answer is yes. Once, twice. You did, huh? You saw it. Now then, is the murderer in this house?
Danny, they're coming. Franklin, get out of here. Now hide. Run, Danny, run.
Is the murderer in this house? Blink once for no, twice for yes. Yes, in this house.
Danny, they're coming.
Wait, I've almost got it. Mr. Dietrich, was it me? Once for no, twice for yes. Was it me?
Get out of here, Danny. They're in the big room behind the curtains. I'll talk to them.
Okay. Well, thanks, Mr. Dietrich. I'll be back.
Ruth, is that you in Father's room?
Yes, Mrs. Dietrich.
Are you here alone?
Well, yes. Why?
We thought we heard voices. What are you so jittery about, Ruth?
I'm tired, that's all. May I go to bed now?
Father's still awake, Ruth.
He'll go to sleep all right. I'm going upstairs, Mrs. Dietrich, now.
Good night, Ruth.
Good night.
She brought someone back here with her. It's him, I think.
Who? Dad? Oh, Franklin.
Take it easy, darling. Take it easy. If he's here, we'll get him.
Well, after the evidence we gave against him at the hearing. Oh, I'm scared. Let's get out of here fast. I'll go to the village for the police.
No, call the police. Here, I'll do it. Hello? Hello? It's too late. It's dead. The wire's been cut. Come on, we'll both drive to the village.
But he may be waiting for us out by the car.
Ada.
What? What are you doing there, Franklin?
I think I just might need my gun. Well, come on, let's be on our way.
The moment they left the house, I made for the old man's room. I called for Ruth, but she was gone. Well, maybe Frankie and Ada caught her after she cut the telephone wire, but I couldn't wait. My life was hanging on minutes now. I shot the flashlight on the old man's face again. Now, Mr. Dietrich, you're helping me fine. You know I'm trying to save my life, don't you? Now, the murderer. Was it me? Was it me who did it? Me, Danny Nearing? Blink once for no. Once? Once! You're sure? You're sure it wasn't me? Oh, you're smiling, Mr. Dietrich, smiling. Now, there's somebody in this house. Then who was it? Oh, can't you make a sound? Help me, you've got to. Was it Ada? Twice for yes, once for no. Once, not Ada. All right, then. Was it Franklin?
Up with the hands, Dearly, or you'll never go to trial.
Franklin, wait a minute. You've got to listen. You've got to.
Drop that flashlight. So you're trying to kill the old man, too, eh? The murderer returns to the scene of his crime.
You know I didn't kill him.
So tell that to the police. They'll have them here in a couple of minutes. Where's your girlfriend, Ruth?
She's not here. I don't know where she went.
Never mind. They'll find her. You're the dead duck, Nearing. Killed my brother and beat it. What did you ever get out of it? That's always puzzled me.
You killed your brother, and now you're going to kill me.
Oh, you've gone nuts, too. Why should I kill my own brother, you idiot?
To get his share of the estate, and his wife Ada, amongst other things. But you can't stop with killing me. Someone else knows the truth. The old man saw it in the mirror.
Huh?
Yes, you'll have to kill your own father,
The old man saw it? How do you know?
He told me.
You're lying. He can't walk. He can't talk. He can't even move.
He can hear, and he can blink his eyes. Now, come over here and look.
Look here, you...
I had to do it. I heard him. He was going to kill you. Here's the gun, Danny. He'll be all right.
But Ruth, you shouldn't have done that. In another minute, I'm not sure it was Franklin.
Oh, Dan, darling, please, let's run for it. They'll be here in a second. It's your last chance. They'll all swear you did it.
Not if I can be with the old man another half minute. Mr. Dietrich. It's Danny again.
No, Danny, don't.
Tell me, Mr. Dietrich, was it Franklin? Did Franklin kill your son, John? Blink once if he did. What's the matter, Mr. Dietrich? Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. Why are you afraid? He's afraid, Ruth. Oh, it's this gun. Here, take the gun, Ruth. You take it. He's afraid. I'm not going to hurt you, Mr. Dietrich. Well, what's the matter? Why don't you answer me? Who killed John Dietrich? It wasn't me. It wasn't Ada. It wasn't Franklin. But someone in the house. Was it Ruth? Ruth! You!
I told you not to come. Oh, I love you, Danny. I wanted you. I wouldn't have let them get you.
Oh, why? Why, Ruth? Why did you kill John Dietrich?
He was always after me. He wouldn't leave me alone. I hated him. And that night he came at me. Threatened me. Said he'd kill me. If he couldn't have me, nobody could. He had a gun, Danny. I got it away from him. He hit the clock. He leaned against it. Thought he'd never fall down. Die. It was the day you ran away, and I was crazy. They thought it was you, and they started looking.
Oh, you. Why was it you?
I love you, Danny. I love you. I begged you not to come back here.
Ruth, please, put down that gun.
No. Stand back, Danny. Stay right over there. I just want to look at you. I was hoping we could get away together. But you've been through enough, Danny. All because of me. Now you're clear, Danny. And this is going to clear me. Darling.
Oh, Ruth. Dear Ruth. About all there is to tell. I've tried to put it all behind me, to resume my life where it left off 3.5 years ago. But sometimes when it gets toward evening, I go and walk along Tillery Street. And once in a while, somebody I don't know, will say, "Hello, Danny." And I just say, "Hello," and walk on. I don't want to find out anything more. I want it all to die away and be still. And it will, all except Ruth. Because somewhere behind that black curtain, I was loved and loved someone. We must have known a love that I'll never know again.
And so closes The Black Curtain, starring Cary Grant. Tonight's study in Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by William Spear.
We are sometimes asked, why does Miss Elsa Maxwell always say it is smart to serve Roma wine? Her explanation is simple.
It is smart to serve Roma wine, first of all, because Roma wines are so delicious, so good with food or any time. It is smart further because Roma wine affords simple pleasure, enjoyment that is truly moderate. Finally, it is smart because it is such an easy and inexpensive addition to hospitality and everyday living.
Yes, in every way, it is smart to serve and enjoy Roma wines. They are California's finest, always good, unvaryingly fine in flavor and quality. And remember, the cost is only pennies a glass. More Americans enjoy Roma than any other wines. Roma, R-O-M-A, Roma wines.
This is Cary Grant. I've certainly enjoyed reappearing tonight on Suspense. It's a program I've always admired tremendously, and it has achieved distinguished success during this past year. 2 weeks from tonight, my friend Robert Montgomery will be your star in one of the really all-time great suspense plays, The Lodger. Next Thursday, there will be no performance of Suspense because the time will be given over to a special Pearl Harbor Day program on behalf of the 6th War Loan Drive. And that brings me to the 7 most important words I can say to you at this time. Buy more war bonds and save them.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. Don't forget, then, next Thursday, no performance of Suspense. But 2 weeks from tonight, on December 14th, Mr. Robert Montgomery will be your star of Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines. Made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Now, Roma Wines present
Suspense. Tonight, The Lodger, and our distinguished star appearing as the storyteller and as the lodger, Robert Montgomery.
Suspense is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those excellent California wines that can add so much pleasantness to the way you live. Finding ways to make living more enjoyable is an art in which Miss Elsa Maxwell is an expert. This famous hostess and authority on hospitality gives you a good thought.
Entertaining friends is one of life's finest pleasures. And I suggest to you, next time you have friends in to dinner, serve them either ruby red Roma Burgundy, so tartly rich and piquant, or pale golden Roma Sauterne, with its delicate, delicious flavor. If you choose Burgundy, serve it cool. Or if Sauterne, serve it well chilled. Use any glasses you have and serve whichever one you like best with any food. I happen to like Burgundy with the richer meat dishes, Sauterne with fowl, fish, or the like. But you follow your own taste, and you'll be perfectly correct. The main point is, serving these wonderful Roma wines is a delightful compliment to your friends, and a great addition to the enjoyment of meals.
Well, the only possible thought I can add is that Roma Burgundy and Sauterne, like all Roma wines, are the best that California's magnificent sun-ripened grapes can provide in fine flavor, color, and fragrance, are always unvaryingly good and delicious, protected by all the ancient skill of Roma's noted wineries. Yet all this goodness is yours for only pennies a glass. Listen, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wines. Roma, R-O-M-A, Roma wines. Yes, right now a glassful would be very pleasant, as Roma wines bring you
Suspense. This is the Man in Black, with a few words concerning London in the year 1888. A London terrorized by the fifth in a succession of recent murders. Murders of young, attractive women. The unknown killer at large and little else absorbed the horrified imagination of the great city, of all those in fine quarters and all those in small, grimy houses. As, for example, Ellen Bunting. Ellen was no different from all the other middle-aged housewives dwelling in squalid Whitechapel. She knew all the known facts of the case. As that artful storyteller, Mr. Robert Montgomery, will tell you, Ellen knew it was quite proper to refer to this wielder of the knife as
The Avenger. On Thursday night, the 16th of April, 1888 it was, Ellen Bunting and Robert, her husband, sat before their fireplace reading the newspaper account of the latest murder. The Avenger had struck again. As Ellen expressed it, he might be anybody. He might be the fellow you pass on the street.
The fellow standing next to you. The man you bump into. Oh, it's a terrible thought.
Yes, if only the police had something to go on. But it looks like the Avenger's just too quick for them.
Look, it says here that this girl he got last night was like all the others. Pretty, blonde, and, let's see, described by her friends as a very light-hearted girl. Oh, what a pity.
Did you ever stop to think who fits that to a T? In fact, fits all those girls?
Why?
My own Daisy.
Yes. Well, maybe it's a good thing she's with her aunt instead of here. London ain't a safe place for any girl right now.
Just the same, I can't help thinking how fine it'll be to have her back.
Now, Bunting, you know that Daisy seems just as much my own daughter as she is yours. But I'm telling you, there's no sense even thinking about having her back right now. We just can't afford it.
I know that, Ellen, only, well, maybe we could manage it some way. And,
How? Haven't I scrimped myself half crazy trying to keep us going? But you don't care about that, do you? Oh, no, your Daisy's more important to you than I am.
No,
And
Ellen,
we
that
haven't
don't
had a
sound
lodger
like
for
you.
months. Nobody even comes to look at the room anymore, and... Oh, I'm sorry, Robbie. I didn't mean to take on so.
Oh, no, Ellen, it's all right. Well, don't you go worrying another second, old girl. First thing you know, you won't be pretty no more. Or you'll have your face all wrinkled.
Now,
with
see here, Bunting.
Oh, come on, now. Let's see a smile. Come on, just one.
Oh, leave me alone. I won't have... Oh, get on with you.
Now, who do you suppose that could be?
Awful late for visitors. Bunting, do you think it could be somebody looking for rooms?
Why, it might be. You want me to go to the door?
No, I'll go. You just stay in here.
And I'll be sure to get a good look at who it is before you let him in, dear.
I'm coming. Why, I do hope that it's... Yes, sir?
Is it not true that you let lodgings?
Yes, sir. Won't you come in, sir?
Thank you.
Could I take your key, sir?
There's no need. Now, I am just looking for a quiet room. It must be quiet.
Oh, we have that, sir. Above all, our house is quiet. Your bag, sir. May I take it?
No. I'll hold it. If you'll be so good as to show me the room, please.
Oh, yes. Yes, sir. It's right up these stairs, sir. This way.
Thank you.
You see, sir, there's just my husband and me here, and we're ever so quiet, and I'm sure you'll find this room to your liking, sir. Here we are. Now, I'll just light the gas. There.
Very good.
It is pleasant, isn't it, sir? And there's not many rooms with such pretty pictures, are there now? We have had them in the family for years, sir, and we're...
Pictures interest me very little. You see, what really impresses me about the room is the very simplicity of it. The bareness.
Yes, sir. It's not at all crowded, is it?
It will be quite suitable, Mrs.
Bunting, sir.
Mrs. Bunting. You see, I do a great deal of reading in my book here. The Holy Bible.
Yes, sir. And please, sir, let me help you with your luggage.
No. Don't touch it.
But I only wish...
You only wish to help, of course. You must forgive me, Mrs. Bunting. It's just that I'm so very weary.
Of course, sir.
He bringeth them to their desired haven. Beautiful words, Mrs. Bunting.
Indeed they are, sir.
And now at last, I have found my haven of rest.
Yes, sir. Then you'll be taking the room?
Yes. I shall pay you 30 shillings a week. This is satisfactory?
30? Why, yes, sir. Yes, sir, that will be quite all right.
Good. My name is Sleuth, Mrs. Bunting.
Mr. Sleuth.
Sleuth. Think of a hound, Mrs. Bunting, and you'll never forget my name. 23. 4. 30. 30 shillings.
Thank you, sir. And would you be wishing anything now? A supper, tea?
Nothing, thank you.
Good night, sir.
Good night, Mrs. Bunting. You have... Stop it!
Oh, yes, sir. What did I do?
That song you were humming. That music.
But
Music, Mrs. Bunting, save that expressing the majesty of God, is an accompaniment for irreverent gaiety.
and an instrument of sin.
Yes, sir.
And you assured me your dwelling was quiet.
But it is, sir. Believe me, sir, I didn't mean any harm.
Of course. I'm sorry, Mrs. Bunting. I fear I spoke sharply. I don't wish you to think me rude. After all, you have been so kind, so considerate.
I hope I know a gentleman when I see one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And on second thought, perhaps a bit of bread and butter would be pleasant.
Bread and butter? Certainly, sir. I'll have it in an instant.
Ellen, did he take the room?
Come into the kitchen where he won't hear us.
Ellen, he took it. He took the room.
Yes, Robbie, we're all right now. Look, 30 shillings a week in advance.
Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful. Ellen, do you see what this means?
Yes, you can have Daisy now. Here, Bunting, hand me that dish.
Right. Do you know something, old girl? We're not going to worry too much about Daisy being in danger of that Avenger fellow.
Whatever do you mean, Robbie?
Well, she's not one for dancing, you know, or any kind of large entertainment.
What's that to do with it, please?
Something I read here in the paper while you was with the gentleman. They found out that every one of the Avenger's victims had just come from a dancing party or a music hall.
What a peculiar chap. Now hurry, Bunting, please.
Two thoughts only governed Ellen's mind. The lodger's light supper and her own good fortune at having such a lodger. She started up the staircase to his room.
Oh.
She hath cast down many wounded from her. Yea, many strong men have been slain by her. Come in, and to know the wickedness of folly.
Why, mister,
Yes, what is it?
those pictures, those pretty girls. You've turned all their faces to the wall.
And that maneuver, that strange action, was the beginning of Ellen's concern. The day following, the lodger did not leave the upstairs room once, nor did he leave the next day. And the oddness of this occurred to her, and the approaching arrival of Daisy, her stepdaughter, added to her concern. On the second night, her sleep was restless with vague, disturbing images. And so when she heard the first stealthy footsteps outside her bedroom, she was instantly awake.
Oh.
Tensely, she followed those steps down the stairs, down the hallway. She heard the front door open and then click shut. Utter stillness fell upon the house, and outside the streets were so silent she could hear distinctly the clock from a church tower a mile away toll the hour. In her troubled fancy, she pictured a long figure plodding through the deep fog, moving quietly, stealthily, searching, stalking, finding. When, soon after, she heard the lodger return, she sought to quiet the horrible dread which had possessed her. But for Ellen there was no more sleep, merely a tormented state of half-consciousness, which suddenly dropped from her soon after dawn.
Horrible murder!
Horrible murder. That was the piercing scream of a newsboy far down the street.
The Avengers strike during the night!
Ellen Bunting heard the boy cry out the Avenger's latest stroke, made during the night.
No.
Extra special horrible murder at King's Cross! Avenger takes 6 victims special! Avenger has recognized another crude victim of mine! Avenger strikes again! Avenger! Horrible murder! Avenger!
Ellen's first glimpse that morning of the gray-faced lodger brought the sleepless night's terror full to the surface. But on the next instant, she saw the pitiable, helpless weariness in his eyes, and curiously, the terror began to pass.
She found that she was hoping desperately that her fears were unfounded. To lose 30 shillings a week, perhaps because of a mistake? No. She must be certain, before she spoke to a soul. She knew that there was one thing she must examine. The lodger's single piece of luggage. What could it hold? Not much in the way of clothing, surely. It was too small, too narrow. It was more like a case. A case for a knife. It was almost noon before Ellen found her opportunity to search the lodger's room. Soon after Bunting left to meet Daisy, Ellen watched the tall, thin figure in the black Inverness cape disappear down the street. And then she rushed upstairs and into the room. Quickly she moved to the closet. It was no different than it had always been, utterly empty. She went then to the chest of drawers against the wall. She opened the top drawer and found nothing inside but a frayed shirt, 2 handkerchiefs. The next drawer, underclothes, socks. The next, empty. There remained, then, only one possible place for the small, narrow bag. The bottom drawer. And it was locked. Tugging at the drawer, she heard suddenly the opening of the front door downstairs.
Oh.
Panic-stricken, she rushed out of the room and down the hall to the head of the stairs.
You're upstairs, Ellen. Look, Ellen. Daisy's here.
It's so good to see you. And whatever's the matter?
Yes, you've gone quite white.
Oh, well, I'm all right. I wasn't expecting you so soon.
Oh, you don't know how fine it is to be back again, Mother Ellen. The country's all right in its way, but there's nothing like London now, is there?
No, there isn't.
Well, as long as that Avenger's about, I can see we're going to have to do something to keep this young lady indoors, London or no London.
Don't you worry. Mother Ellen will see to that.
Well, Daisy, I might as well get you settled.
Oh, you see, Father, what I tell you. She'll have a dust cloth in my hand before I got time to take my coat off.
Mr. Sleuth.
Mrs. Bunting? I see my door is open.
We was just leaving, sir.
Does this mean that all of you have been in my room?
Oh, not all, sir.
What must I do? Keep it locked?
But you see, sir, I was just tidying up a bit, and Mr. Bunting, he brought his daughter up, sir. She's just arrived. This is Daisy, sir.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
She's been away for quite a long while, you see, Mr. Sleuth, and that's why we're a bit excited, you might say.
Yes. You must have been surprised when you came in hearing us laughing and carrying on that way.
Yes. Yes, I must say I was. However, Miss Daisy, there are all types of joy, are there not?
Yes, I'm sure there are.
The despicable evil joy of the abandoned and the divine happiness of the blessed. A vast difference, that. You do understand me, don't you?
Why, yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Sleuth.
I devoutly hope so, Miss Daisy. Nowadays, there are so very few young women like yourself who do. All women are placed on this earth filled with evil. They therefore must struggle constantly to find the paths of righteousness.
Why, Mr. Sleuth, you mean a girl's not to enjoy life at all? Not to have fun?
Frivolity, my child, is the devil's breeding ground. All his implements are there. Pleasure, impropriety, the temptation of music, dancing.
Oh, that's crazy. Why, there's nothing I like better than an evening of dancing.
You dance?
She didn't know what she was saying, Mr. Sleuth. Just a child. And Daisy, you know you've never been one for dancing. You never even learned how
to. I did learn, Mother Ellen, while I was away. And what's so wrong about it? What's the harm in just a nice dance?
She lieth in wait as for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men.
I don't know what you mean. I never heard such nonsense.
You call Holy Scripture nonsense? So, what I prayed against is true. You are beyond salvation.
That's not so. I'm a good girl, and I won't have you saying that.
Daisy, go into the front room.
It's quite all right, Mrs. Bunting. I must be going upstairs anyway. I'm used to being misunderstood, you know. People never realize that my efforts are simply for the greater good of humanity.
Of course, sir.
And that the power on high will direct my hand toward the expulsion of all evil. Beautiful words. Beautiful words.
Daisy, Daisy, listen to me.
Yes?
I've got to tell you about...
About what, Mother Ellen?
Nothing. I've got to go out for a while. I'll be back.
At that moment, Ellen had been determined to pour out her terrible suspicions. But she paused on the very brink. After all, they were still only suspicions. A sudden inspiration had come to her. That very day, a coroner's inquest was being held into the last Avenger murder. She would go there now, this very instant, and perhaps she would hear evidence to disprove all her fears about the lodger. She must give him this last chance. If that chance should fail, then she would tell Bunting or the police. So, with the knowledge that Bunting was left in the house to look after Daisy, she boarded the underground train bound for the coroner's court. Ellen, seated at the rear of the inquest room, listened to each of the witnesses, and from one of them she found the first hope she had known for many days. This witness claimed to have seen the Avenger from her window, and the man she described in no way resembled Ellen's lodger. But in another moment, Ellen's hope was swept away. It was pointed out that the fog had been so heavy that night that the witness could not possibly have seen the murderer from her window. The next witness was a Mr. Cannot. This elderly gentleman was certain that he had not only seen but talked with the Avenger. It was in Regent's Park, he testified.
Only a few moments before the murder, Mr. Coroner, when I saw him. He was quite a tall man, very gaunt-looking, and carrying a handbag.
A handbag, you say?
Yes, a small, narrow one. Just such a bag, I might add, as might contain a knife.
A knife?
He had rather an hesitating voice, an educated man, I should judge, but quite mad.
What do you mean by that?
Well, as he emerged from the fog, he was talking aloud to himself. And believe me, sir, he was reciting scriptures from the Bible.
Scriptures from the Bible. Horrified, Ellen rose from her seat, only half hearing the confusion about her.
Are you asking us to believe that? I would say, Mr. Cannot, that the man we're looking for would be, least of all, a religious man.
That's where you're in error, Mr. Coroner. The religious note is the very key to the case.
Very interesting. That will be all, Mr. Cannot.
Just a moment, sir. Don't you understand? The man you're after must be a religious maniac. That's the only explanation possible.
You will please step down.
The court was dismissing the very truth. Ellen knew that now. She could no longer keep silent. Her hand shot forth and she screamed.
I want to say no.
On the verge of speaking, she had fainted. And then when Ellen was revived a few minutes later, she said nothing. Her brain was in too great a turmoil, her nerves too shocked. Like one in a dream, she allowed herself to be led from the courtroom. And then she made her way toward the underground. A faint, distant rumble of thunder never even reached her consciousness. And she was barely aware of the grind of the wheels as her train pulled away from the station. Then, with the force of a mighty blow, the full realization struck her. No doubt any longer. Mr. Sleuth, her own lodger, was the murderer. He was the Avenger. The Avenger. The Avenger. The Avenger. The Avenger. On the street again, Ellen knew she must go at once to her neighborhood police and there pour out her terrible knowledge. But with each moving footstep, with each heavier boom of thunder from the rainstorm that was almost there, the grip of terror grew tighter and tighter about her. She moved faster, faster. If only she were in time. The first light drops of rain sprinkled her brow as she came within 2 streets of home. Then she was 1 street away. Then she saw Bunting. Sharply, like the thrust of a knife, the one fact pierced her mind. Daisy was now alone with the lodger.
Bunting!
Ellen, what is it?
Tell me, Bunting, where's Daisy? Where is she, I say?
What, Daisy?
Where's Daisy?
What is it? Oh, what?
Listen to me. Try to understand. Sleuth is the Avenger.
What? What are you saying?
Oh, Lodger, he's the Avenger, Bunting. Daisy's in danger. Hurry.
Yes, Daisy. Daisy.
Here we are, Bunting.
Daisy. Daisy.
Daisy, where are you? I'll look in the kitchen, Bunting. You try the sitting room. Daisy!
Daisy!
Where are you,
Answer me, Daisy! Daisy! Oh, yeah, let's try the bedroom.
Oh, she's not there. Oh, what about the dining room?
I looked. She's not there. She's not downstairs.
Then there's just his room.
Oh!
If I forget the old Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. And now hear me, O Lord.
Daisy!
I have not forgotten. I am ready.
The knife. He's got the knife.
Ready to smite thine enemy. For man born of woman is born unto trouble, and I shall cleanse thy kingdom on earth. Yea, I shall show her thy wrath from heaven.
No!
Speak, O Lord. I am ready. The power on high will direct the expulsion of evil. Yes, yes, O Lord. Thy servant heareth. And now...
He's dead. Daisy. Come to me, Daisy. Oh, thank heaven.
Yes. Thank heaven. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And his word burned like a pillar of fire.
Death by act of God. Thus the final entry in Scotland Yard's record of the famous Avenger case. Yet, curiously enough, there were those at the Yard who were never quite sure, never entirely convinced that Mr. Sleuth was indeed the Avenger, any more than Mrs. Belloc Lowndes, who novelized the case, was convinced. There are those who will tell you that the real Avenger, a tall man clad in black, a man almost exactly like Mr. Sleuth, left England and came to America to live in a town near yours. He would be quite old now, but it may be true. Yes, perhaps, as it is written in Holy Scripture, he did fly upon the wings of the wind to walk as a stranger in many lands. Hast thou found me, O mine enemy? Beautiful words, those. Beautiful words. Don't you think?
And so closes The Lodger, starring Robert Montgomery, tonight's study in Suspense. Suspense is produced, edited, and directed by William Spear.
In everything she says about enjoying Roma wine when entertaining and with everyday meals, Miss Elsa Maxwell holds out for simplicity and common sense.
I've often been a guest in great homes abroad, where enjoyment of good wines is as much a part of life as eating. And I tell you, the kind of glasses in which you serve your Roma wine is completely unimportant. Just use any glasses you have. Serve whatever Roma wine you like, with whatever food you prefer. That is smart, simple, and always a delight.
The important thing, Miss Maxwell says, is to have Roma wine and enjoy it regularly. Roma wines are California's finest, always extra good, unvaryingly fine in flavor and quality, yet only pennies a glass. So don't miss this simple, easy, enjoyable addition to daily living. Remember, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wines.
Robert Montgomery appeared through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, to whose studios he has just returned, having been ordered to inactive duty after 3.5 years' service with the United States Navy. He will shortly begin work on the production, They Were Expendable. Next Thursday, same time, you will hear a radio play based on the RKO picture, The Brighton Strangler, with Mr. John Loder and Miss June Dupre as your stars of Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines, R-O-M-A, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.